Have you ever stopped to wonder why, in the heat of passion, he suddenly grabs your legs and lifts them higher? Not casually, not like it's some random move he picked up from a scene in a movie, but with intention, as if something inside him takes charge without words, without any warning. One moment everything feels close, grounded, steady, and the next your legs are in the air, and in that instant everything changes. How it feels, how you react, how he moves, how the entire moment transforms. For the longest time, I used to think it was just a position switch, something men do because they've seen it somewhere or stumbled into it by chance. But I don't believe that anymore. Because when it finally happened to me, really happened in the kind of way that steals your breath before you even know what's happening, I felt something shift inside me. It wasn't just physical. It wasn't just about the act itself. It felt like there was something unspoken happening between us, something he was trying to express without saying a single thing out loud. The truth is, when a man lifts your legs like that, it's not random. It might look instinctive, but there's something deeper beneath it. Something emotional. Something psychological. And once you understand it, you'll never see it the same way again, because the first reason, and the one no one talks about enough, is all about sensation control. Your body isn't just skin and muscles and bones. It's a map of nerves, layers, pressure points, all waiting to be touched in the right way. And when he lifts your legs even slightly, the entire angle between you changes. It's not a small change, it's huge. What used to feel like a simple rhythm suddenly feels more powerful, more intense, more focused. He's not just reaching you, he's accessing you differently. The pressure shifts, the contact sharpens. Nerves you didn't even realize were waiting suddenly light up like sparks on a wire. And here's the thing, he's probably not even thinking about it in a logical way. He's not sitting there doing calculations in his head. He's reacting to you, to the way your breath stutters, to the way your back arches without you meaning to the way you stop holding on and start feeling. Something primal inside him says, yes, this. Stay right here. And without words, the two of you slip into a completely different connection. Because here's what's really happening. It's not just about feeling something deeper physically. It's about you letting go deeper emotionally. When your legs are lifted, the balance shifts. Your body opens up, not just in a physical sense, but in a way that says, I trust you with this. And that changes everything for him, for you, for the entire energy between you. Suddenly, it's not just about motion, it's about meaning. Most women miss this part. I used to miss it too. Because it's not just about his pleasure or even yours. It's about how he's watching you. Not with his eyes, but with every sense he has. He's reading you, noticing every tiny reaction, every gasp, every pause in your breath. It feeds him, not in an egotistical way, but the way music feeds a musician playing live. Your body becomes his signal, his map, his guide. The more you let go, the more he comes alive in what he's giving you. And that's where the real connection starts. Not with the physical act itself, but with your response to it. Because here's the truth, when a man lifts your legs, it's not about him trying to overpower you. It's about you letting yourself be taken over willingly, completely, with every nerve and heartbeat saying yes at the same time. And in that kind of surrender, you don't lose control. You gain something else entirely. The power of being deeply wanted. The power of being fully felt. The power of being completely alive in someone's arms. But that's only the beginning. Because there's another layer to this. One that lives inside his mind more than his body. Men aren't only driven by what they feel. They're driven by what they see. by the images burned into their memory. And when your legs are lifted, even slightly, the picture he sees hits him in a way that has nothing to do with logic. It's not about looking perfect. It's not about some camera angle. It's about what the image represents. Raw desire, open invitation, the boldness of you letting him all the way in. That image does something powerful to him, because on one side there's softness, the curves, the openness, the surrender. But on the other side, there's this wildness, this unapologetic way your body says, I want you here. That mix of softness and boldness pulls at something ancient inside him. It makes him want to give you more, to rise to meet the energy you're offering him without words. And what fuels it even more is how you react. The flush on your skin, the way your voice changes, the small movements you can't control. To him, those aren't small things. They're everything. They tell him he's reaching you, that he's stirring something real inside you, that he's the reason you can't hold it all in anymore. And for a man, that's not about ego, it's about purpose. It tells him he's not just there, he's effective. He's giving you something unforgettable. And here's the deeper layer most people never talk about. When you let him see you like that, when you let him feel your openness, your surrender, your trust, it gives him permission too. Permission to stop holding back. Permission to stop thinking so much. Permission to let go with you instead of staying half inside himself. And when that happens, when he feels you meeting him at the same level of intensity, something in him snaps into full presence. He stops rushing. He stops planning. He's right there with you, in every breath, in every sound, in every moment. Because for a man, nothing is more powerful than a woman who meets him there. Completely, without pretense, without walls. That's what keeps him coming back long after the moment has ended. Not just the image, not just the act, but the feeling of being fully let in, with nothing held back. And here's the part that changes you too. Because when your legs are raised, your own body shifts in ways you can't always explain. The sensations hit differently. The angles open places that don't normally get touched. The rhythm feels brand new. It's not your imagination. It's your body's design responding to the change. And most men don't even plan it. They don't study anatomy charts or read guides before this happens. They learn you by paying attention. To your breath. To the way you grab the sheets. To the way your body goes still right before a wave hits. And the moment he sees your reaction change when he lifts you, that's when he knows. This is the thing. This is what makes you lose yourself in the best way. And that's what stays, because here's the thing about moments like that. They never really leave you. They stay in your body like music that keeps playing even after the song has ended. You could be walking through your day, doing ordinary things, and out of nowhere, it comes back. Not in a way that disrupts you, but in a way that pulls you into a feeling you didn't even know you were craving. Because the truth is, it's not just about what happened between you and him. It's about the part of you that came alive in that second. The part that let go of fear, of control, of how you should look or act. The part of you that felt wild and soft at the same time. That is why people chase intimacy, even if they can't put it into words. Because the body keeps these memories like treasures, like secret letters you open again and again, just to feel what you felt the first time. It's why, when he touches you again, your body doesn't just respond to him, it responds to what it remembers. It responds to the freedom it felt, the safety, the connection that went deeper than words. And here is the secret no one really talks about. It is never only about desire. Desire starts it, yes. But what makes it unforgettable is what comes after the desire. When everything slows down and you feel the weight of the moment hit you all at once. That's the peace that carves itself into your memory. That's the peace you carry long after he's gone. You might think about the way his hands felt, the way his breath moved against your skin, but beneath all of that, what you're really remembering is the way you felt, the way your own heart opened in that instant, the way your body let go like it had been waiting for this without even knowing it. Because there is a difference between pleasure and presence. Pleasure comes and goes. Presence stays. And when the two happen together, when someone is fully with you in that second, not distracted, not holding back, not thinking of themselves, but really with you, that's when it becomes unforgettable. That's when you keep replaying it in your head, not because of the position or the moves, but because it made you feel alive in a way you can't explain. And maybe that's why afterward you feel different. You look in the mirror and it's still you, but something has shifted. Maybe it's in the way you carry yourself. Maybe it's in the way you think about love or trust, or the way your own body deserves to be touched. Because once you've felt that kind of connection, it's like a door opens inside you that doesn't close again. And the next time it happens, it hits you even harder because your body already knows the way. It doesn't have to wonder if it's safe to let go, if it's okay to feel this much. It remembers. It recognizes the feeling and runs toward it like it's coming home. That is the real reason moments like that change people. Because deep down, every person is looking for that place where they can stop performing and just be. Where they can stop holding themselves together so tightly and finally fall apart in the best possible way. When two people meet each other there, when they both drop the act, the walls, the pretending, that's when intimacy becomes more than physical. That's when it becomes something the heart keeps replaying long after the body is done. And here is the thing most people miss: it doesn't happen every time. You can't force it, you can't plan it, you can't fake it. It happens when two people, whether they know it or not, decide to meet in the same moment with nothing held back. That's why even years later, people remember certain touches, certain nights, certain seconds with a clarity that surprises them. Because it wasn't about what was happening on the outside. It was about what was happening on the inside, about the way they felt alive and unafraid and open all at once. And that is why, when he lifted your legs, it became more than a move. It became a moment where everything else fell away: fear, doubt, control. And you felt something real enough to stay with you long after. Because the truth is, the body never forgets. The heart never forgets. And once you've been there, you will spend the rest of your life chasing not the person, not the move, but the feeling of being that free, that open, that present ever again. Because the moment stays inside you like it left fingerprints on your soul. You can go back to your routine, talk to people, laugh, work, do everything you normally do, but somewhere in the background, that feeling is alive. It's not loud, it's quiet, but it's there. It's like a soft echo reminding you that once you felt something bigger than yourself, something you didn't have to control or explain, something that made time stop for a second. That's the thing about real intimacy. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for the perfect plan or the perfect setting. It just happens when two people, even without saying it, decide to be fully there with each other. Not half there, not careful, not hiding, just there. And that is rare. That's why it stays with you. Because the world teaches us to keep our guard up, to look like we have it all together, to never show too much. But in that moment, all of that disappeared. and the memory doesn't cling to you because of what he did. It clings to you because of who you became in that second. The part of you that didn't hold back, that didn't care about anything except feeling everything all at once. That's what lingers. Because most of life asked you to be smaller, quieter, safer. But that moment asked you to be all in. When he touched you like that, when he lifted your legs like he was asking you without words to let go, he wasn't just reaching for your body. He was reaching for your surrender. And surrender is terrifying because it means you can't control what comes next. But when it's real, when it's honest, it doesn't feel like losing. It feels like being found. That's why afterward you didn't just feel close to him. You felt close to yourself, like you met a part of you that had been waiting quietly for someone to call it out. A part that doesn't care about rules or timing or what anyone thinks. A part that just wants to feel alive before the moment slips away. And maybe that's why you keep replaying it without even meaning to. Because deep down, you're not just remembering him. You're remembering you. The you who let go. The you who stopped thinking and started feeling. The you who didn't care about right or wrong, about what happens tomorrow, about whether it even makes sense. You just felt it, all of it. That's what makes intimacy so addictive. It's not the act. It's the aliveness it gives you. It's the way it strips away everything fake and leaves you with something raw and real. And the more rare it is, the deeper it carves itself into you. You might try to explain it to someone, but words never really capture it. Because it wasn't about what could be seen. It was about what was felt in a place no one else can see. That's why it becomes a secret between you and yourself, even more than between you and him. And here's the thing. Once you've felt it, it changes what you want. You can't go back to moments that feel half alive. You can't go back to people who touch you but aren't really with you. You can't go back to holding yourself back. Because now you know what it feels like when everything inside you says yes at the same time. That's why the memory feels so alive even now. Because it wasn't just passion. It was freedom. It was trust. It was the rare kind of moment that doesn't happen every day, the kind that doesn't ask for anything except for you to be fully there. And the truth is, most people spend their whole lives chasing that without realizing what they're really looking for. They think they want love or adventure or excitement. But what they're actually looking for is presence. The feeling of being completely here, with nothing held back, with nothing missing. When he lifted your legs and everything else disappeared, that's what he gave you. Not just pleasure, not just closeness. He gave you the chance to feel yourself completely alive. Without fear, without control, without the weight of the world pressing on you. And once you felt that, it stays. Not because of him. Not because of the move. But because it woke something up inside you that had been sleeping for too long. Because after that, something inside you shifts in a way that's hard to explain. It's not just about him anymore. And it's not even just about that night or that moment. It's about the feeling of coming back to yourself in a way you didn't even know you were missing. It's like for so long you've been carrying pieces of yourself scattered all over the place. Pieces left in old memories, old hurts, old fears. And then suddenly, for a few seconds, everything gathers back together and you feel whole. That's why it lingers. That's why even when you try to shake it off, it keeps coming back in flashes. Because it wasn't only about desire, though that was there. It wasn't only about the way his hands moved, or the way his voice dropped low when he said your name. It was about the quiet way your own heart answered back without hesitation. Most people don't understand this because they think intimacy is about action, about what someone does or doesn't do. But the truth is, the body doesn't remember details the way the mind does. The body remembers feelings. It remembers safety. It remembers surrender. It remembers the rare moments when it didn't have to protect itself, when it didn't have to hold everything in. And once you feel that kind of safety wrapped inside that kind of intensity, nothing else feels the same. It's not just attraction anymore. It's not just chemistry. It's a kind of trust that doesn't need words. A kind of trust that shows up when two people are both willing to be completely there, no hiding, no pretending. That's why afterward, even if you never talk about it, even if no one else knows, there's a part of you that walks through the world a little differently. A little softer in some ways, a little braver in others. Because now you know what it feels like when the noise in your head goes quiet, when the world outside disappears, and you're left with nothing but the raw truth of the moment. And here's the thing no one really says out loud: moments like that don't belong to the past even when they're over. They live in you. They change the way you see yourself. They change the way you let someone touch you, the way you open up, the way you carry your own body through the world. Because now you know what it feels like to be met fully, not halfway, not carefully, but all the way. When he lifted your legs, when everything else dropped away, it wasn't just closeness. It was a kind of freedom most people spend their whole lives looking for without even realizing it. A freedom that comes when you stop performing. Stop calculating, stop wondering if you're too much or not enough, and you just are. That's what your body remembers. That's what your heart keeps coming back to. Not the exact moment, not even the man himself, but the way it felt to be so completely alive that the rest of the world fell off the edge for a while. And maybe that's why afterward, it's hard to explain to anyone else. Because how do you explain a moment that wasn't about words at all? How do you describe something that didn't happen in your head, but somewhere deeper, somewhere quieter, somewhere you can't point to on a map? You don't. You just carry it, like a secret, like a spark that keeps glowing even when everything around you goes dark. And maybe, deep down, that's why you want it again. Not just the closeness, not just the touch, but the feeling of being cracked open in the best way, of being met where you didn't even know you wanted to be met. The feeling of being completely there, with nothing else in the way. Because once you've had that, once you've felt what it's like to be seen and touched and held without walls, you can't go back to anything less. You can't unknow it. You can't forget it. It becomes the standard your heart quietly waits for, even when you don't talk about it, even when you try to convince yourself it didn't mean that much. But it did, and your body knows it. Your heart knows it, that's why it stays. Because the truth is, it doesn't just stay in your memory like an old photograph you can look at whenever you want. It stays in the body in ways you can't always explain. A song comes on the radio, a certain scent drifts through the air, or even the way the wind moves against your skin on a quiet evening. And suddenly, you're right back there, feeling it again like it never ended. That's how deep it goes when a moment cracks you open like that. And maybe that's why people spend years, sometimes lifetimes, chasing that feeling without even realizing it. Because what you're really craving isn't the person, not entirely. It's the aliveness you felt in yourself when it happened. The way your chest rose and felt like it was breathing for the very first time. The way your skin felt awake in every cell. The way your heart beat so loudly you could swear the whole room heard it. That kind of moment doesn't happen when you're guarded. It doesn't happen when you're in your head, thinking about how you look, whether you're doing it right, whether it will last, or what comes next. It only happens when all of that falls away, when nothing matters except the second you're in and the person you're there with. And when that moment takes you, it doesn't ask politely. It doesn't give you time to prepare. It just sweeps you up, and for a heartbeat or 1,000, you stop being separate pieces of flesh and thought and nerves, and you become one unbroken thing. Breath, warmth, skin, pulse. Everything blending until you can't tell where you end and he begins. That's why it lives inside you after. Because it wasn't just a thing that happened. It was a place you went together. A place inside yourself you didn't know existed until someone else walked you there without even realizing that's what they were doing. And here's the quiet part, the part nobody says out loud. Once you've been to that place,